Coach, how important was the win tonight, knowing you've got a doubleheader next weekend?
Yeah, it's massive on so many levels. Like, we're past the halfway point, so you're on the home stretch now, so you're playing the back nine now, so it was huge for us to get that win. And, you know, especially when we kind of slipped a little bit in the second quarter, and then we were able to bounce back in the third and then close it out in the fourth.
Curtis had 4 goals tonight. You had a lot of offensive production from your best players. How important is that your best players score when the game is close?
They have to. That's what, you know, big-time players show up in big-time moments, and, you know, Dixon's done it his whole career, and Keegan got us going in the third quarter, and Jesse was really strong too, and, you know, the other guys, Beads and those guys banging around, creating a lot of space. So, you know, they'll tell you that Dane Smith needs to have good nights for them to win, and same with Josh Byrne. It's pretty much across the league. Your stars got to be good, and if they are, and one of our biggest stars is Christian, so that was a big help too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what did you like about the defense tonight?
I thought it was good early. It was really compact. We took away the middle of the floor. And then in the second quarter, we got a little loose, and I think it started with our offense. We weren't getting on the floor quick enough, and they ran on us. And then we started cheating. We started leaking out of our own end, and all we expect from Christian is to stop the first shot. I'm not overly concerned with rebound control, and we just have to box out better, and we cheated up the floor, and they got a couple rebound empty netters. So that was a little bit disappointing. So it was good to get a big goal at the end with Dixon, and then when we went into the half, we just wanted to, you know, we had lost a little bit of composure. We had that kind of a dazed look on our eyes. Some of the guys on the back end and some of the old guys was like, oh, here they come. And it's a game of runs. It's that bend, don't break mentality. And we went in the room and regrouped and you know, see if we could learn from what happened in the second quarter, and we did.
How'd you like the resiliency of this group?
I liked it a lot. You know, I think we only had 1 or 2 power plays, and I think that was a big part. You know, we didn't want to get involved in personal battles. We didn't want to have any verbal jarring back and forth. If you notice, we just ran away from stuff. We got out of there, and we put all our energy into playing. And you know, if we wanted to get someone back, we wanted to do it on the scoreboard. So that was one of the things we wanted to do, is just to, you know, to play an honest game and stay out of the garbage.
How important is your defense's ability to put a rough stretch behind them and rebound from that?
That's a testament to the guys in the dressing room. You know, I can talk about things all I want, and I can tell them, you know, they reset, regroup, refocus mindsets and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they have to go out and do it. And you know, I was super proud of them that they were able to bounce back. And you know, I've been on teams where, you know, you spiral like that, and then the next thing you know, you start the third quarter and they get 3 in a row, and then the game's over. So I like our response. I like their pushback, and I like that resiliency, like you mentioned.
Was last year's playoff series against Buffalo a big talking point for you guys throughout the week?
It was brought up a couple times, but it wasn't so much. I don't think it was a huge talking point, but it's definitely mentioned that they knocked us out of the playoffs. And you know, we're a different team, but it was like, you know, we lost last week, and I think the big message for me was because you lost to the first place team doesn't validate you. And we talked about that. It was like, it wasn't validating that we walked in there and, hey, we took the top team in the NLL to overtime, but we lost. At the end of the day, that should really sting with you, and we really wanted to make sure that we could correct what happened last weekend with a win here.
What do you like for your offense's ability to bounce back there in the second half, as well as Christian's ability to shut things down in the fourth quarter for you?
Yeah, he made some really big saves, especially when they tried to dunk from behind. And you know, it's really tough when a guy's behind the net and then you're facing the shooter, so you got to step out. And then if they skip it over your shoulder, if there's a rebound that goes behind and you got to get back and stop the dunk, made a couple really nice athletic plays. And as far as our offense was, there's a fine line there. You're up a couple goals, 10-7, and you don't want to stop playing, but you also don't want to take shots from the top where they can run it down your throat like they did in the second quarter. So we were pretty cautious of when and where we shot the ball, but I think that's just a good learning lesson and discipline for our guys to get off the floor. So cleaned up a little bit of that floor balance, and just getting off made a big difference in the fourth.
I know you took Christian out for a little bit in the second quarter. Can you just talk about how much confidence you have in him as a goalie?
Well, the other kid's 100% save percentage this year, so he was so Thule was real good. But no, I'm kidding. He is though. But on a serious note, that's just I've known Christian for years. We got such a great bond. We got almost a brotherhood bond, and we got so much respect for each other. And you know, he gets really fired up, and you know, he came to the bench, and he just needed a time just to reset a little bit. And you know, we had a quick conversation, and you know, sometimes Christian wants to win so bad that he adds a lot of pressure on himself, which he really doesn't need to do. And, you know, he's still a pretty young guy, you know what I mean? And he just wants to make a difference so bad. And sometimes it's just the less is more. You just got to let that mentality slide a little bit and just play the game that's in front of you. And that's what he did, just reset himself, and what a second half he had.
Feels like Curtis is shooting the ball as well as he's ever shot it. Fair?
Unbelievable. Like he had a couple bars too, and you know, that shot in the third quarter or whenever it was barring in and right out. He's had a couple of those this season. He's just been absolutely amazing, and you know, he's ageless, and he's a tough check, and it really opens it up for the other righties on that floor.
This is a hard league to be any age, but to be an older guy, like it says something about how competitive it is. how athletic and the whole combination?
I think so. I think, first and foremost, when I knew Dix when he was a young kid at 12, he was super athletic. And then as he kept on going, he trains pretty hard, though. He keeps himself in phenomenal shape. And as you get older, like if you notice, he's dropped weight. We were kind of teasing him at the beginning of the year how that was going to play out, if he was going to get moved around, if he wasn't going to get to where he wants to. But he's so dedicated to get in the middle of the floor. He plays with zero caution out there, and you need to know where he is at all times. So, we love having him, and he's here, and he gets big goals and big moments. That's why we brought him in. And, the other side, you got Jesse over there, and everyone just compliments everybody up there and helps Keegan a lot too, so it's really nice.
What does it do for the group to have a guy like that scores big goals?
It takes the pressure off the defense and the goaltending, just to know that, even if they come within one, that we still have a chance to kind of put them away, and we just keep grinding. And that 5-minute mantra is something that's really huge. And you come in after TV timeout, and the D gets to look down the bench, and they see, we got some pretty high-powered guys up there, and translates really well the other way. And then you look at the back end, and you got Christian, and you got a very physical, systematic defense, and it's a testament to everybody. No one's bigger than the team, and they all care a lot about each other. So it's just really nice to have those guys, because I said before we brought them in because they're great people and great teammates.
Reed Bowering he reached 700 career loose balls tonight. What can you say about his tenacity? I know we've talked about it before, that you always feel like he's going to come out with a loose ball.
Yeah, I looking down the bench today in the fourth quarter, and I'm just yelling, Reader, 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 and he just pops out and out. He goes on the floor, so he shuts down the wall in transition. He goes out and plays offensive shifts for us. He's just, you look at him, he's never out of breath. He just never looks tired, and he's not a super vocal guy, but man, does he compete. And, that's pretty cool that he's got that stat. And, it's not a goal, it's not assists, it's just for old school, hard work and loose ball battles, and that's kind of who we are, so it's pretty cool.
This is the best start the Warriors have had since 2018. Just how important is that just to get a cushion in the standings heading into the back half of the season?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a cushion, to be honest with you. Like Stevie mentioned, this league can be cruel to you. You could flip on your head real quick. We got a back-to-back this coming up, and then we're going to have Toronto on a short week, and then we're off to Georgia, and then we get Ottawa. So I think that's another, 5 games or so before we get a break. So we can't, I always say we don't scoreboard watch. We just got to play where our feet are, and our focus now is on Vegas on Friday night, and then regrouping and heading over to San Diego. So if you start thinking you got a cushion, you got a little bit of room, before you know it, you're getting close to 500. So this was a big win for us, knowing that we have to go on the road for 2.
From a coaching standpoint, how are you planning on keeping the momentum going into your doubleheader this weekend?
We're a possession team. I think that's big. We got to take care of the ball. We got to execute on the power play. I think that's a big part of it. Discipline, staying out of the box, and then don't change. We don't change based on the score. We really make sure we don't change based on the standings, based on the opponent. All our guys put a lot of work in. They watch a ton of film, and we'll prepare and have a good game plan for them. And just a matter of saying what we always do. We just play 5 at a time. So I don't think any of the external pressures that come with being in this league or being wherever you are in the standings has any benefit to the team. So we'll do what we always do, just lock in on the next opponent, prepare for the start of the next game.
Christian, how'd you like the bounce back effort from your group tonight?
Yeah, it's big, right? Obviously, it's a league where runs are super common and just a sport in general. So I think it's a good adjustment at halftime and going back out there and winning that first 5 minutes and that third quarter, and then obviously using that momentum into the fourth.
What'd you like about the defense in front of you tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot to like, right? And I think the biggest thing is just kind of that ability to adjust, right? Like we kind of obviously had some rebound issues between me and them, just miscommunication, but we dialed in. And I think that just comes with such a veteran group, right? You have so many guys that can kind of be a voice out there and help with adjustments and help us all dial in. So we lean on a lot of guys, not just one.
What do you think about your performance tonight?
It's good enough to win, right? Like that's kind of like the longer I play in the league, the less that I really concern about the numbers, the stats, that kind of stuff. Like we're here to win games, and that's how we make the playoffs, and that's obviously how you get to championships. So that's kind of good enough to win, and happy with that.
How much of a talking point was last year's playoff series against Buffalo?
I don't think you overread into it, right? Obviously, they're a great team. They've won 3 championships back-to-back, and maybe there's some talk about them fatiguing and all that, but they have so many future Hall of Famers, and you just know what type of team they are. So I think it's less about what happened last year and more about building to what we're doing this year.
Feels like you guys are starting to learn to win close games.